Yeah, it's official. I've been institutionalized. This is actually a padded room. Actually, no. I just wanted to preface this video. There's a two-part series on the brakes, part 1 and part 2, and some of the videos sort of got a little bit out of time sync, so you may see things that were finished in part 1 that actually I'm showing you in part 2, but at this point part 1 has already been uploaded, so no big deal. But enjoy the video. It's now 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm tired. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just tired because I just mowed the lawn. Anyway, you heard my video earlier about the frustration of the brake lines and the parking cable lines. I did actually get something accomplished that I feel pretty good about. The new radiator is in and fits perfectly. Dusty in here. See those dust particles? Anyway, this is a reproduction, but it is a reproduction of how one would look originally. I don't know if you can see the sticker here, but this is a company called USA Radiators. Can you see that? And all I have to say is this is perfect. Anything that I didn't see that my other one had, and I don't know if I have to take that off of the old radiator, but there were, for this overflow line, there were clips on mine. I may just have to adapt something for that. Right now I have it kind of tucked out of the way. Didn't come with the overflow line or the cap, but I have those. Got some coolant in there. Sort of wheelie. Hope that's not indicative of something. I doubt it. But yeah, there's some wetness down there because I spilled some of the coolant filling it up. But I ran it for about 15 minutes. The thermostat did open up. Everything is nice and warm to the touch. Heater lines, heater inside worked as well. And yeah, I guess that's a win that we'll take. We'll figure out these lines at some point. If I have to wind up making my own lines, if inline tubes doesn't have what I need, then I guess I'll do that. But I'm really tired, and the frustration of this sometimes takes it out of you, but I feel pretty good about what we got accomplished today. At least I got all the front brakes completed, all the soft lines, the hard lines are at least connected, same as on the other side. Packed new wheel bearings in the front. Back here I did this the other day, but I finished off the hard line and the soft line here into the stock, what are the things called? Valve. Put the hard lines in here. You can probably see across right there and there that I ran the new lines for that. So it should be much safer car. Battery disconnected? Yes, good. Alright, so that's it for now. Oh. Oil can! Trying to make it entertaining. Anyway, pardon me. So I'm back with the car today, and going to look at a few things here. I think in the last video I kind of was a little PO'd at the brake line situation, and also having an issue with the parking brake situation, cables being too short. Still not quite sure what's going on with the parking brake cable. We'll get into that in a little bit, and have a solution, I think, for the brake lines. So we'll be right back. Okay, it's your fearless idiot back again. So I mentioned the brake cable. Here's the old one on the ground. You'll notice that one of the ball ends is still on here. This one has been ripped off. Here's the cable that I purchased, and I've double checked this multiple times. It's a Bruin cable, number 92622, and I've looked it up multiple times. It's supposed to be the one for the Dodge Dart. And if we just do a quick mock-up here, take into account some of the bends here, but if anything, it can't be that far off. Yeah, it's a little difficult for me to tell on this end because the ball end kind of ripped off, but I recall when we got the car that the ball end may have been sort of attached at the brake end. So I'm not sure if I just have the wrong cable. I'm going to call the company and just double check. I don't have a yardstick. I don't have a tape measure, but this cable is supposed to be 102 inches, so I will double check that. It's possible I got the wrong cable, and if I do, I would be happy. I don't mind sending something back. So actually, I'm going to put this with my keys so I don't forget it, so I can measure it at home. Okay, in addition, as this box will signify in a little bit, let me get this. It's always good to save the old parts for comparison. A surprise in here, we'll go over that in a future video. Let's take a look here at the brake line situation. So what I wound up doing is there's no way in hell that these brake lines are going to fit down to where that block is. Maybe a little hard to see. I'll use my finger to point to, but it's right there. And it's probably about the best place where I can put it. So what I'm going to have to do is run lines from here at the master cylinder all the way down to that block. And unless I'm stupid, and I could be. What if I am stupid? Nah, I mean, they're like, I mean, I possibly could bend them. I'm going to try that before I go to a lot of trouble. I don't want to bend them too much. They're supposed to have that curl in them for expansion, you know, when the engine bay heats up. But what I did do, and even if these do manage to work out some way, which I don't think they are, I purchased some this is copper nickel brake line. It can also be used as fuel line, I think also for transmission line. And I also purchased this Titan double flaring tool, 3/16 line, supposed to put those type of double flares in brake lines, sort of like that. So what I will do is just mimic these lines with this tubing. The beauty about this tubing is that it's very easy to mold because it's mostly copper with nickel thrown in, but is approved for brake lines and for fuel lines, and I think also transmission lines, which right under the car. Here's the proportioning block. I think that's what they call that. Back up here a little bit. So this line right here goes to the rear brakes. This one here goes to the driver's side front brake, which is here. And this one goes across the cowl and goes over to the other side brake, passenger side brake. All right, so the normal place for this block is, I don't know if you can see, but it's right up here. So really not that far off. But what I'm going to wind up doing is I'm going to drill a new hole and put it up a little closer on the frame. What that gives me is a little bit extra room. I don't have to worry about the hump of the firewall to try to route these lines up and over to the master cylinder. So what I'm going to do here now is mark this hole. This will actually be pulled up a little bit in one hand here. Mark this hole, drill hole, and put this proportioning block, I think that's what they call it, on the frame here. Okay, wish me luck. All right, so this is my first attempt at making my own line. I just used a spray can to make the relief. Okay, that's line number 1 formed. And we're on to number 2. Okay, just going to explain the flaring tool here that I'm using. Here's the line. This one didn't come out as nicely as the other one, but really it's more of a cosmetic thing. I mean, here's the ones from inline tubes, and you know, they look much better than mine. But anyway, I'm about to put the flare on the end of this tool, or this line. Important to have the nuts on first. That one's already done. This is just a protective rubber cap so you don't mess up the threads. Alright, so that's pretty easy. This is there's a stop here. You have to have this totally put at the bottom. You loosen these 2 nuts, they hold the brake line. You slide the brake line in until it hits the stop, and then you tighten these 2 screws to kind of clamp the line into the tool, and then use this, which has 2 ends for making the flare. OP1 goes in first. You have to lubricate it. This red it's basically just grease. You screw that and take this out. Once it's clamped in, screw this in until it bottoms out, and then flip it over and do the same thing. I'll try to demonstrate this while I'm let me set this up first. I can't do it with one hand. Okay, serious me here again. So I'm going to tighten this to clamp it down, which I kind of already did. That's tight here. Alright, I'm going to take the dye, you call this, I guess. Clean out the old grease. OP1 goes in first, which is this guy. You see that? OP1. Just like Mayberry, OP. So to get a little grease on the end of that. And we're going to screw this in, OP1, right, got that. Just as it starts to come up, I'm going to start using a socket wrench. This takes a good amount of pressure on this. And it's supposed to bottom out. I got a little bit to go. It's supposed to bottom out on the surface here and the surface of the bolt, and you can kind of feel it once it snugs up against the edge here of the tool. You know you're pretty much done. All right, so now we'll reverse, and we're gonna flip this guy over and do the other end of the double flare. So again, we'll put a little grease on the end of this guy. And make sure I have OP1 going the opposite direction now. You know, this one doesn't take hardly any pressure. Usually only a couple turns, and that's it. And get that out of here. Loosen the nuts. On the clamp. And then be able to slide this out. There. And that's what it does. And this is kind of what it starts out as. Alright, I guess that's it. Pretty cool little tool from Titan. I'll put a description link to it at the bottom of the page if you're interested in this tool. Okay, thanks. Okay, both lines are on. The next thing I have to do is go down to the distribution block. Kind of tough to see, but I'll be under the car anyway. But distribution block is that little brass piece that's right there, and that's where everything sort of terminates. This is a difficult job. Anyway, probably can't see too well, but here's the distribution block. I'm trying to get the lines from the top master cylinder up here, and it's just kind of an awkward position, and I'm getting dust particles and such on my face, but that's the first one tightened. I'll give you a close-up in a little bit if I can. Just not a lot of space here, and I just don't know really how much torque these things take. Alright, that's number one done. You know what? I think I could probably reach this. Luckily, the floor pan is the floor pan is out of this car still, so I could probably reach this from up top. But I don't even feel like getting out from underneath. It's very comfortable under here. Actually, I'm on a piece of cardboard. Rock Auto box. I love Rock Auto. I want to have its child. That's the top lines. They are connected, and now I'm going to wrestle with the other lines. The important thing is you just don't want to kink the lines up, and you also want to make sure everything is straight going in, that you don't cross thread anything. So I don't think this is that interesting, but I'll come back. Let me give you a close-up of what I'm doing here. Can you see? Okay, here's the distribution block. I just tightened these two lines up top. This is the one going to the rear, and these are the two front brake ones. One goes here, and one goes here. So like I said, I gotta just orient these things so they're nice and straight and don't kink cross thread when I put them in, and hopefully we won't get any leaks. Okay, so the car hasn't been run in a while, or at least you haven't seen it run in a while, so I just wanted to show you what's going on. Right. New radiator. See if I can kick this down a little bit. Right throttle is a little high. You got to figure that out. But here we go. All right, so to attempt to do this under its own power. Wish me luck. Okay, so that's probably in the first time in about, I don't know, maybe 35, 40 years that that car has actually moved under its own power. So that's pretty great news. Hope you enjoyed looking at that. Let's see, next time I guess we will tackle getting all the air out of the brake lines. They're still a little bit spongy, but that's a two-man job. I'll get my son to help me out with that. I'm going to address that parking brake cable, try to adapt something for that. What else? That's it. And I guess once we have some good hard brakes, hard pedal for the brakes, and the emergency brake, and we might take this little girl out for a joyride around the block. So check back with me next time, and hopefully we'll have the 66 Dodge Dart GT on the road for a little jaunt. See you next time. Become a subscriber and maybe watch some other videos. See ya.